People who are toxic, difficult, and narcissistic do not act like the rest of the world. They are not logical and rational people. They have to manipulate and lie, and they lie about everything, even the smallest things. And this is not something they just do. This is who they are. So in today's video, we are going to look at why they lie, the things they lie about, and what you can do about it. Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Carrie Cox, and welcome to my channel where I help people use their personal power to build a connection between their mind, body, and spirit. Today, we are talking about lying and narcissism. Narcissists have these traits in their personalities that cannot be changed. It is part of their personality. It's part of who they are, and it's just something that if you're going to have some sort of relationship or connection to a person who's narcissistic, you will just have to accept that that is the way it is. It's not ever gonna change. Narcissism is a personality disorder, and lying is something they have to do in order to survive. This is because they have no inner sense of value. They get all of their value from the external world. They do not have a relationship with themselves, and they never go within. Oftentimes, when you are dealing with a narcissistic person, they have a tendency to always be defensive. You cannot ever have a normal conversation with them without them getting very defensive because their guard is always up. Most of them don't understand that the reason why they're like this is because they have a lot of self-loathing issues. And they never let anyone in. They keep their defenses way up as a way to protect themselves against all of the emotional pain that they are suppressing. Narcissistic people have built an entire lifetime of lies with these very delicate layers full of secrets and lies, with this very fragile foundation. And they have marketed a sense of self that they want everyone around them to believe. And the more people they convince that false sense of self and this house of lies that they have built, the more they start to believe it too. So for them, they don't see or experience their lies and manipulation, their own lies as manipulation. For them, it's just simply survival. When most of us are in a situation where we have to decide between right and wrong and decide between being truthful or untruthful, we check in with ourselves and we get a gut feeling, and that's how we make that unconscious decision. This happens automatically. It's not like we're sitting there aware. I mean, sometimes maybe we are a little conscious of it, but a lot of times it's just an automatic thing that happens unconsciously. And in that moment, we go with what feels right in the moment. And even a narcissist does this. But when a narcissist is checking in with themselves, they're asking that 3-year-old sense of self who has not developed a sense of self yet what they should do. And that's exactly what narcissism is. It's a disorder of the self. And it's a disorder of the self because the self has fragmented into many different parts of itself. And for the narcissist, they've developed a sense of self based on opportunism instead of values. Usually this is because they had some sort of trauma in childhood, and that trauma showed them that the world around them is unsafe. So they've decided that they need to manipulate and control everything in their environment in order to feel safe. This is why many narcissistic people will have some sort of anxiety disorder or an OCD disorder. If their OCD disorder is about their appearance or the cleanliness around them, they're using that to create a sense of safety around them because they can control their environment around them. Psychologist Stephen Johnson says that the narcissist is someone who has, and I quote, buried his true expression in response to early injuries and replaced it with a highly developed, compensatory false self. This alternate persona to the real self often comes across as grandiose, above others, self-absorbed, and highly conceited. In our highly individualistic and externally driven society, mild to severe forms of narcissism are not only pervasive, but often encouraged. So what he is saying is, in society, we are driving and encouraging more and more people to become narcissistic. So for the rest of the video, let's look at why narcissists lie, the things they lie about, and what we can do about it. Now, I know from experience that in dealing with someone who's narcissistic, you almost want to record everything they say, otherwise they are going to gaslight you and make you believe that they never said that. And so it's important to get everything in writing, but it is understandable if you have the mentality that you want to record them because you want to prove to them that they lied. But the only thing you would get out of that is a sense of validation for yourself. Even if you record them lying, this is not going to show them anything. They aren't going to change their ways because you record them and prove to them that they lied. So it's important to recognize their behavior and that their behavior will never change, even if you prove it to them. They are never going to feel remorse or take blame for anything they said or how they made you feel or own up to any mistakes. So why do narcissistic people lie? Well, they lie so they make themselves look better in front of other people, because for a narcissist, it's all about self-image. And so if they have to lie to make themselves to appear to be better, then that's what they're going to do. The second reason why they lie is to get validation from other people. They're always looking for attention. And this is because they can't generate their own self-worth. They don't have the ability to generate that from within, so they're looking externally around them to other people outside of themselves or situations or events outside of them for validation and attention. They will often lie about their own skills and accomplishments so that they can get praise and flattery from other people, and this helps boost that self-esteem within them. So they're getting temporary self-esteem boosts, and that's what they're looking for. The third reason why narcissistic people lie is to make them look like a victim, especially if they are a covert narcissist. They always play the victim card when they are a covert narcissist. So if they look like a victim, they're going to get attention and validation outside of themselves. So that's just another tactic. And so they will often lie about something somebody else did to them, or maybe they'll take a situation and exaggerate it to make the other person look really bad so that they can gain sympathy and empathy and even help. I mean, people will reach out and help them financially or just give them the attention that they're looking for. The next reason why narcissists lie is because they use lies to hide their flaws and mistakes, because remember, they cannot own up to their mistakes. They can't take blame for anything. So if they can lie about what's going on around them, then they don't look bad in the moment. They don't look like they messed up. You might see this a lot in the workplace, but you will see this in just regular day-to-day dealings with narcissists too. And the last reason I have to share with you why narcissists lie is they lie to control you. They have this need for narcissistic supply, and they can use lies to help them control what other people think of them. And now they have the upper hand in all the situations. They also use lies with bringing in other people to do their dirty work for them. Those are usually called flying monkeys. And so they'll use lies and triangulation there too. Now, what are some things that narcissistic people lie about? Well, the first thing they lie about is they typically like to say it's not my fault. They will blame everyone else or blame you because, again, they don't want to take blame for anything. So a common thing they say is, it's not my fault, it's yours. And then that way they can try and shift the blame to someone else so that they don't have to take responsibility for their actions. Common things they may do is make excuses or make themselves look like the victim in the situation. The second thing that narcissistic people can lie about is they may say, I promise. This is a common trait. It's a common way that they'll say that in the moment to get you to agree to whatever it is that they're trying to gain the upper hand over without ever following through with the promise. So they have a tendency to not follow through with obligations or agreements. They usually will say they will do something and then they never do what they say. Chronic narcissists do not relate. They use people. They can talk a good talk, but they can never back it up. The third thing that narcissistic people lie about is they'll say, don't worry. They tell you they will take care of it, and then they don't. See, narcissistic people don't really care about rules or boundaries. They pretty much feel they're invincible, so they'll break the law or go against a court order or whatever because they feel they are above that. They feel entitled. And a lot of times they take part in things because they lack morals, ethics, and credibility. And this could be very minor things to very big things. Another thing that narcissistic people will lie about is they will say, I'm sorry, I'll change. So sometimes they will get caught in their lies and in their manipulation and they can't worm their way out of it. And sometimes they're going to have to make promises or say things in order to correct a situation because at the end of the day, they have a fear of abandonment. And so when things get pushed too far, they will come in and say they're sorry and they'll change, but they don't really mean this. So you may have heard this many, many times from them and nothing ever changes. These are usually life crisis moments that they get caught in, and it's in order to save a marriage or save a friendship or save a job that it'll appear they're taking ownership, but they're really just lying. And once the crisis is over, they're going to revert back to their old ways. The only way a narcissist could truly, truly change is if they could become conscious and aware of who they really are. And that would take so much courage and strength and vulnerability. And on their part, a willingness to go on a self-discovery journey and to go through a ton of counseling. And that is typically very unlikely. A technique that narcissists use all the time, a very, very famous technique and way of manipulation, is through gaslighting. So gaslighting could be looked at as another thing that they lie about. They use this technique to make you think that you're the crazy one or you're the one that remembers it wrong, when in reality it's really them tricking you. It's a way of trying to take control over you and your thoughts. And it's a way of brainwashing and really controlling your mind. If you were to confront a narcissist about the fact that you caught them in a lie, they will deny and they will deflect. So be prepared for that if you're going to call them out on their lies or their bull crap. This happens to me all the time because I don't allow people to get away with lying to me. I can sense it a mile away, and I also don't let it bother me anymore. But they will deny and say they didn't do anything wrong or put the blame on someone else. They will even throw their own kids under the bus if they have to make themselves look better. If they are denying and deflecting, they may say things like, oh, let's just move on. Let's just forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore. And they may try to sweep it under the rug, but they won't really give you a sincere apology for anything. Confrontation probably will not work with a narcissist, so set boundaries, stand up for yourself. A great line that I read that would be worth trying is something like, if you continue to lie to me, I'm going to end this conversation. Remember, it takes honesty and self-reflection to see and admit to your own mistakes. And it's in those mistakes that people like you and me, we will grow from, we will transform, and we will learn from our mistakes. But narcissistic people cannot see those mistakes or take time for any kind of self-reflection. So please remember, when dealing with a narcissistic person in your life, do not give them the benefit of the doubt at your own cost. Be true to who you are and find some support if you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic and you're having a hard time. You don't have to go at this alone. There are people out there who understand what you are going through. And with this, I leave you, my beautiful friends. I hope that you have gained some knowledge from this video. It's all about empowering ourselves with as much knowledge about a situation or a person in our life in order to be able to deal with it appropriately. So I hope that you got what you needed from this video and that you have a blessed and beautiful day. And namaste.